Hello there and welcome to another video of Des Illustrates. Today we are looking at my second order of this handmade paint or watercolor paint by KMH over on Etsy. In total I ordered 8 colors and one color that's now in the video, the Sticks and Stones, I got for free extra with the order to try out. This was an experimental color where they had grounded up stones out of their garden and made a color with it. So I got to try that one out and see if it worked. The 8 colors that I had ordered myself were 7 normal colors and 1 Chaos pen, and that is this one. The Chaos pen is 2 colors in one pen. In this instance it's Blood Moon and Witchy vibes in one pen, and I also always really like these because you get a true surprise of the color, and when you go through the pen the color also keeps changing because you get a bit more of the one color and then you have a bit more of the other color. I ended up choosing this particular Chaos pen because I really loved how it looked before it was even used, even though eventually that will go away. And also I really like the color combination of Blood Moon and Witchy vibes because I thought that it would give nice moody red or a really warm purple. So I thought that either way, whatever the color was going to be or gonna change to when you use the pen more, it will end up being a really lovely color. And as you can see on the screen right now, it ended up being a really nice moody deep red, and I really love this one. Something else that I really liked about this combination is that Blood Moon is matte color and Witchy vibes is a sparkle color. So naturally this color ended up being sparkly, and that means that I now have Blood Moon itself that also was in this order, that's matte, a really nice red, we will see that later on, and this one that has sparkles in it, so that's a really nice bonus. And also even though we don't see a lot of the color of Witchy vibes, that's more of a purple, we do see another property of Witchy vibes once the swatch is dry, and that we will see in the end of the video, but you see the granulation coming through that Witchy vibes has on its own. So that are the 2 properties that come really through in the Chaos pen, and that makes it even more unpredictable what kind of color you get in these Chaos pens, and that's something that I personally really like. It's like this little chocolate that you get in those boxes and you have no idea what the filling is, and then you get this nice surprise of this really nice taste that it ends up being. And in this case it's the color that is surprising, and that ends up being something really pretty that you didn't know or expected up front, and I think that's a really nice touch to these kind of pens. Then right now we are swatching Siege. This is a bit of a brownish red. In my color swatches it comes not really close to any other brown that I own. It's for me a really separate color, and on top of that Siege is also sparkly, it shimmers, which is also a really nice touch. And I love also the color of the shimmers that we will see more in the end of the video. It gives another dimension to the color, and that's only visible when it's dry, so we will see that in the end. And Then now we have Blood Moon. This is the color that was one of the colors in the Chaos pen in the beginning. And as you see, Blood Moon is a much more vibrant red, and also you can already see even in swatching that it doesn't have that same granulation as the Chaos pen had, so that granulation really comes from the witchy vibes. The main reason that two reasons that I ended up getting this color is one, it was a Halloween special and it wasn't gonna be available for the rest of the year. And also I think this color will be a really nice mixing red for in the palette, so that I also can use the palette on its own. In the first set of colors I got a lot of colors just because they really spoke to me and they were really pretty colors, and I do really like the color of Blood Moon, and it's a good red. But the main reason that I got it was because I thought it would be a really nice addition to the palette to be using it on its own in the future, and would help me mix a lot of other colors. Next is Goblin Hours, and I got that for a similar reason. I also think this will be nice in mixing, and I also think, especially when thinned down a bit, it will be a really nice color that I end up using a lot in nature paintings. I think that's a really nice shade for that. Here we have Gorgon. This is a green, light green, and for me it was a good shade of green. I'm always really picky with my greens. I don't like when they are too vibrant. One, because they are not really useful in a lot of mixes, the vibrant greens, not for me at least. And also because I don't really like using the vibrant greens on their own. I have several in my base set of Van Gogh that I have, and I have used them only a couple of times in some really vibrant green butterflies where I really needed that green on its own to be vibrant, and that's about it where I used it for. So yeah, that's why I was really happy with this green when I saw it, because it was a perfect muted light green, and I didn't have this color in my other watercolors yet. It was a really unique color, and also when I swatched it and I put it in my swatch book with the other colors, it stands out, and I don't have anything quite like it. So that's another big reason that I really liked it. The color that comes closest for me to Gorgon is olive green, and then when it's more thinned down, but even that it's a bit too warm of a color. And also Gorgon is a slightly opaque color, so and it's matte, not a shimmer, so it's still a really different color. And when you thin it down, it's gets some really nice other shades. So yeah, it's a versatile green that also I already tried it in a few paintings to mix it with some other colors, and it also mixes really nice with some yellows and some reds to create some more vibrant greens or some more muted greens. So yeah, a really good color. Next up is Nirvana. Nirvana is a lavender kind of purple. It's also a more opaque color than other colors. Nirvana also separates a bit when dry. There comes a bit of a blue in the granulation, so that's a nice touch. I personally really like granulating colors, so for me that was something that even added to the fact that I wanted it. And I also liked the shade of lavender of this one a lot more than the lavender I have from Van Gogh. So for that reason I also wanted it. Then next we have Witchy Vibes. This is the second color that was seen in the Chaos pen together with Blood Moon. Witchy Vibes was also one of the Halloween special colors that was only available in the Halloween update. So for me that was a big reason to buy it. And then I also saw the color and it's just gorgeous. It's a purple that separates and granulates, and the separation that comes through is a bit red. So it's just an absolute gorgeous and perfect color that I just had to add to my collection. It also is one of those colors, and that's a big plus that I find over all their colors. It all are very unique colors. When I put the swatches in my swatch book, there is nothing that I can really compare to them. I sometimes say in my videos from, oh, this is a bit like a lavender shade or anything, but to be honest, there is nothing that comes really close to any of the colors that I have bought of them so far, and that's something that I absolutely love of buying colors of their Etsy. They are all really unique, and you can also see in the way the texture of the paints that it is handmade. It just gives an extra dimension to the paints that I only have seen in a few of my other watercolors that are from bigger brands. So that's something that made me really fall in love with their paints. Then the color that we are looking at right now is Pumpkin Spice. Pumpkin Spice was also a Halloween special, and this one has some shimmer in it. If I am correct, that when it dries you can see it. It is a bit of a gold shimmer, and together with the orange that looks really beautiful, and it gives the orange a bit of a deeper feeling and texture that I personally think is really beautiful. And when it dries, Pumpkin Spice also has a slight granulation in it, and it also almost looks a tiny bit separating because of the shimmers in it that dry in a bit of a different shade than the orange itself. Or in my swatch card, when it's dry, once again we will see it in the end of the video, you can see that slight granulation and separation that I love so much. And it's even visible in this orange. And I must say, in all my other orange swatches of all the other brands, I don't really have any separating or granulating oranges, and the same with the reds. All my reds are really flat colors. There are not much granulation or anything going on, and that's something, once again, that's really unique to this orange, that it's slightly granulating and also even has a bit of a shimmer. I also want to remind you guys that this is my second video of the KMH watercolor paints. I have a previous video of these that was a first impression of the brands and of the watercolors, and these are a second order in their shop because I love them so much. And I once again will leave a link in the description of the video and everything, but I will also leave a link to the previous video that if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend watching it because it shows some more of their gorgeous colors. Then the last color that I'm gonna be swatching is the Sticks and Stones color. This is the color that I talked about briefly in the beginning of the video that I got for free from them to try out, and it's a color that they made of rocks that I've found in their garden. So it's a really unique color in the way that the pigment that they used from the rocks is really bound to where they live, and probably won't be any more of it. So I was really honored to receive this pen of colors to try it out, and it also was a bit of a test to see if it worked to make stones into paint. And as you can see, it activates a tiny bit slower than the other paints that were more easy to activate. However, I think this one still activated really nicely, and that it was really a really fun color to try out, and that I also definitely will be using in some of my paintings because it's a shade of brown that I do really enjoy and that I think is really useful in nature paintings. I also like, because it's made from the stones, it's a bit of less fine pigment, and you can see that in this paint that it's a bit more of a texture in the paint. I do want to point out once again that I received this pen for free and that it never made it to the shop because they weren't sure about the quality of the paint. I think it's still a really nice paint with a super nice extra touch of it being hand grounded out of stones too. So yeah, I definitely think it was worthy, and if you just mentioned that it was from stones out of the garden and that it activated a bit slower than the other paints they made, but other than that, I think it's a great paint still and that I will be enjoying it very much. I also want to be clear that Chris is a dear friend of mine, but I bought the paints with my own money. Sometimes I get a few free pens because they want me to try something out or anything, or they have a pen that's not entirely filled over with something else. And I also recently got a really nice Christmas gift from them with some of their paints, but the opinions in this video about the paints are my own and they are completely honest. I just really love their paints and I do really think they are really unique paints. That being said, that were all the swatches for this video. As you can see here, you see the shimmers in the pumpkin spice, and we already saw witchy vibes previously that granulates and separates a bit. The beautiful matte blood moon, the gale span of blood moon with witchy vibes that has a slight shimmer in it. And also you can clearly see it's a bit darker and a bit of granulation in there. Then we have siege that has this beautiful shimmer that gives it an all different dimension that makes the paint much more interesting to look at. Goblin hours that also has a bit of texture, bit of granulation. Gorgon, that's just a beautiful matte green. That's a really natural green, perfect for my nature paintings. Nirvana, that's a beautiful lavender-like shade with some granulation and even some slight blue separation in it. And then last, sticks and stones, that is the hand grinded stones from their garden, and I think that it's a beautiful paint and a beautiful color even with their own made pigments. That being said, I am in love with all of their colors that I received, and I'm very happy with all the paints that I have from them. And right now I already have some more than I have shown so far, so expect another video with more swatches of these paints because I keep going back to their store and buying more. So yeah, more to come soon. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. I also want to thank my Patreons for supporting me over there and with that this channel. For now, see you next time. Bye!